You realize that the only thing that truly matters is living according to who God created you to be. And when you start confronting your fears, do you know what happens? You laugh at them. Because deep down they never made sense. Fear paralyzes us in so many ways, often without us realizing it. Fear of disappointing someone, fear of trying something new, fear of investing in what you truly believe in. But let me tell you something. Every great step requires courage. I remember a story from Napoleon Hill's book that completely unlocked my mindset. He was afraid of being murdered, running with the only money he had. Do you know what he did? He went to a luxury hotel. He was trembling, afraid of spending everything, but he made that decision. And in that moment he realized fear could no longer control him. That made me think I was called to be a king and a priest. Am I living like one? The truth was I wasn't. I was a good priest, but hadn't yet become a good king, prince, or patriarch. I decided everything had to change. Since then, I've started making bold decisions, like investing heavily in what truly matters. A lot of people ask me, how do you have the courage to spend 11 million rays on renovating your house? My answer is simple. Do you know the people who live there? They are the most important people on earth to me. And do you know who unlocked this mindset for me? Flavio Augusto. One day, visiting his house valued at $40 million, I asked, why invest so much in a house? And he replied, because the most important people are there. That response etched itself into my mind. It's not about the money. It's about prioritizing what truly matters. If it were the old Pablo, I would never have had the courage to do this. When I bought my house, I remember saying to Carol, accept the house as it is. Its identity is already complete. She was upset and replied, but this house doesn't reflect who you are. That hit me deeply. I started to see what she saw. The house didn't reflect our identity. So we tore down columns, extended structures, and adjusted every detail. The uneven pool was leveled, marble was installed, imported doors were added. Suddenly, everything began to make sense. In the end, I realized, investing in something that represents who you are is always worth it. Now, let me tell you something important. If you're trying to control others, be careful. You might be just another victim of a system that manipulates you without you even knowing it. Don't waste time trying to control someone who is free. Freedom provokes. When I speak, sometimes I use words that shock because they expose this very thing, the attempt to control language, emotions, and other people's freedom. Some people try to appear falsely holy, to please others, forgetting that God doesn't look at you through your sins. He looks at Christ who lives in you. Remember Isaiah, who confessed to being a man of unclean lips, yet his heart was right before God. Or Jesus, who called some people a brood of vipers. That was the worst insult in the Jewish context. Don't confuse the gentleness of the lamb with weakness. There is a lion within you too. If you live only as a lamb, always submissive and fearful, you'll never achieve what you were called to be. Let me share something crucial. Living in fear is like planting a harvest you never wanted. Fear, when allowed to grow, becomes like an uncontrolled crop. The problem, one day, you'll have to reap it, and that harvest can be devastating. Fear is like inertia, a force that keeps you stuck or moving at the same pace without progress. If you haven't prospered in the last 10 years, it's the same as standing still. Believe this, you were created to prosper, and prosperity, like everything in creation, follows cycles. Look at the seasons of the year. They reveal the glory of the Creator. Why would you be any different? Trees have times when they bear fruit, and times when they lose their leaves. Rivers have seasons when they are full and others when they are nearly dry. Storms come and go, droughts come and go. That's how it works. And do you know what this means? When the leaves fall, the tree hasn't stopped prospering. It's simply renewing itself, shedding what's no longer needed to make room for the new. You need to do the same. When old things pass away, it's a sign that new ones are on their way. And if you don't make use of what God has given you, know this: others will take it. If no one takes it, the fruits will fall to the ground and rot. That's natural. What's amazing is that the more you enjoy your fruits at the right time, the more strength you give your tree to produce again. A tree whose fruits aren't picked weakens. The same happens to you. When we don't enjoy what we've achieved, we grow weak. Many people live tired, exhausted. When I ask why, I hear something like, I can't stop working. Do you know what that is? A tree that never rests. You need to understand cycles. There's a time to work, a time to rest, and a time to enjoy. When you understand this, fear loses its power. because you begin to recognize the phases of your life and act accordingly. Recognizing the cycles allows you to prosper without burnout. It teaches you to celebrate what you've achieved while staying ready for the next season. Because life isn't just about producing, it's about learning to enjoy and trust the process. Let me share an experience of mine. Sometimes I walk past the entrance to my company, a huge building that I find amazing, and decide, today I'm not going in. This happens about 4 times a week. My office is incredible, with space for everything I enjoy, from golf to ping pong. But there are days when I say, today I want to do something else. And do you know why? Because I've realized that life isn't just about working or staying busy. It's about enjoying what you've already built. And do you know what's even more interesting? Recently I had a dream where I bought every building on a street. I woke up and thought, maybe that's what I'll do. The point is, when you understand the cycles of life and learn to enjoy them, your vision expands. You stop being controlled by fear or routine and start dreaming bigger. Do you know what's great? Being free. But let me tell you something. Freedom doesn't come for free. You're not just going to wake up one day and feel free. To get there, you'll need to give more of yourself than you can imagine. You'll need to wake up earlier, go to bed later, and surround yourself with people operating on levels you didn't think were possible. Write this down. Places, people, and experiences. These 3 things have the power to unlock your mind. Often what we need to move forward is found in the environment we place ourselves in, the people we connect with, or the experiences we choose to embrace. Just yesterday I was talking with Marcos by the lake. We talked about the future, wild ideas, and trips we haven't taken yet, but want to. Every international trip I've made wasn't just for leisure, it was to unlock my mind. Each country, each culture, and each experience opened new codes in my thinking. I remember when I went to Bolivia. I was there to sell clothes for my father-in-law's business. I carried heavy suitcases, had a long beard, and always felt like people looked at me strangely. I didn't feel welcome. I asked the people with me, "What's going on? Why do they look at me like that?" No one could answer. I started researching, talking to local businesses, and then I realized it was my appearance. In that context, my long beard created a cultural distance. As soon as I made a simple change, everything shifted. People started welcoming me. I learned that sometimes the code to move forward is in the details, in how we adjust to our surroundings. In Israel, I had another profound experience. When I stepped foot there, all the doubts I had about the Bible disappeared. Not because my faith increased, but because I didn't need faith to believe certain things anymore. I saw them with my own eyes. Faith is essential when you don't see, but when you experience the reality, faith becomes an unnecessary foundation for what is already evident. Remember this, freedom and growth come from the willingness to step out of the ordinary, to open yourself to the unknown, and to face whatever is necessary.